Maya Frost stood in the burning intelligence room, M4 carbine gripped in blood-stained hands. Smoke curled through emergency lighting, painting everything the color of old wounds. The radio crackled at her feet, shattered casing sparking against concrete. A voice cut through the static, male, calm, familiar in a way that made her skin crawl. "Ghost 7, you still alive?" Her finger moved to the transmit button. Her voice came out cold, controlled, nothing like the analyst who'd clocked in 14 hours ago. "Alive, and I remember everything now." Silence, then a low laugh. "Then you know what happens next." Maya looked at the four bodies surrounding her console. American tactical gear, professional kills, her kills. "Yeah, I hunt you down." The voice on the radio went quiet. Maya released the transmit button and stared at her reflection in a broken monitor. She barely recognized the woman staring back. 16 hours earlier, she'd been just another intelligence analyst. Now she was something else entirely. Something she'd spent 18 months trying to forget. The screen flickered once, then died. In the darkness, Maya closed her eyes and let the memory take her. Back to when everything was still normal. Back to 16 hours ago. The forward operating base sentinel sat like a concrete tumor on the Syria-Iraq border, all hard angles and razor wire against endless sand. November wind rattled the communications antennas. Inside the intelligence center, Captain Maya Frost sat at her workstation, coffee number 4 going cold beside 3 encrypted tablets. Numbers scrolled across her screen, radio intercepts, satellite imagery, pattern recognition algorithms searching for ghosts in the noise. She found one. Her fingers stopped moving. She leaned closer, replaying the audio signature. Russian communication protocol scrambled through a frequency that shouldn't exist this far south. The voice spoke in clipped Chechen, but the cadence was wrong. Too practiced, too clean. Maya's brain processed the anomaly in seconds, cross-referencing against 18 databases simultaneously. SIGINT teams had analyzed this same intercept 6 hours ago, tagged it as routine chatter, filed it away. They'd missed the tell. She isolated the waveform, stripped the encryption, and there it was. A micro delay, 0.3 seconds every fourth transmission. Someone was bouncing the signal through a relay. A relay that, according to her network map, was inside FOB Sentinel. The coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. "Ma'am, you've been here 14 hours. Maya didn't turn. Corporal Jake Reeves stood in the doorway, holding a fresh pot like a peace offering. 24 years old, fresh-faced, still believed the army made sense. She envied him that. "Notice something," she said, eyes never leaving the screen. "Can't place it yet." Jake moved closer, peering at the data. "Looks like standard intercept traffic to me." "That's the problem." She pulled up the network routing log. Sector 7 communications array. Their array. Someone had modified the transceiver to bounce external signals through FOB infrastructure. Either incredible incompetence or deliberate sabotage. Maya's money was on the latter. Her hand moved toward the phone to call Colonel Vickers, then stopped. Training from another life whispered in her ear. When you find a rat, you don't announce it. You watch where it runs. "Ma'am." She minimized the screen. Nothing, probably just cross-chatter from the patrol nets. Jake didn't look convinced, but he'd learned not to push. "You need anything else?" "Sleep, and about 6 fewer problems." He smiled. "Can't help with either, ma'am, but I can get you coffee number 5. "You're a saint, Reeves." He left. Maya pulled the intercept data back up and began tracing the signal path. Whoever had installed that relay knew their tradecraft. Military-grade encryption, clean routing protocols, no fingerprints. But everyone made mistakes. She found theirs in the installation timestamp. 0300 November 7th, 3 days ago. Graveyard shift when only essential personnel were awake. Maya Cross referenced the duty roster. Only 2 people had authorized access to Sector 7 that night. Sorry. And Colonel Grant Vickers. The coffee turned to acid in her stomach. An alarm shrieked through the compound. Maya's head snapped up. Everyone in the intelligence center froze. The alarm changed pitch. Not a drill, incoming. Drone strike, someone shouted. Impact in 20 seconds. Analysts scattered, scrambling for the hardened shelter in the corner. 20 seconds. Maya's brain shifted gears, calculating blast radius, trajectory, probable impact point based on the alarm's sector designation. She stayed seated. "Captain, we need to move." Jake grabbed her arm. Maya pulled free, calm as stone. "Northwest corner, behind the filing cabinets. Everyone, now." "Ma'am, the shelter is 16 meters southeast. The drone is coming from bearing 270. Blast wave will funnel through the shelter entrance and turn it into a kill box. Northwest corner. Move." She said it once, didn't raise her voice, didn't explain how she'd done the math in under 3 seconds. Jake's eyes went wide, but he obeyed, pulling analysts toward the corner. Maya counted heads, 12 souls, all accounted for. The drone hit. The world became noise and pressure. Ceiling tiles exploded. Monitors shattered. The blast wave hammered through the shelter entrance exactly as Maya had predicted, turning reinforced concrete into shrapnel. Then silence. Dust settled like snow. Maya stood, checking herself for wounds. Nothing. Around her, analysts groaned, ears ringing but alive. Every single one. Jake stared at her from behind the filing cabinets, face white with dust and shock. "How did you know?" Maya didn't answer. She was already moving toward her workstation, checking if the data had survived. The monitors were slag, but the server room was intact. The intercept data would be safe. "Captain Frost," Jake's voice carried an edge now, "how did you know which corner?" "Physics," she said without looking at him. "Blast dynamics, basic engineering." "Nobody calculates that fast." Now she did look at him, met his eyes, let him see nothing. "I did, check the perimeter for casualties." He wanted to push. She could see it in the way his jaw worked, but training won. He nodded and headed for the exit. Maya waited until he was gone, then allowed herself 3 seconds of reaction. Her hands shook, not from the explosion, from how easily the old training had surfaced. The calculations she shouldn't be able to make. The tactical awareness that had no place in an analyst's skill set. 18 months of careful camouflage, and one drone strike had cracked the mask. She forced her breathing to steady and returned to the intercept data. Someone inside this fob was helping the enemy, and that someone had access to strike coordinates accurate enough to drop a drone on target with 20 seconds warning. Which meant they had real-time intelligence. Which meant they were still here, still watching. Maya pulled up the Sector 7 routing logs again and began backtracking the signal modification. 30 minutes of deep forensics revealed a ghost partition in the server architecture. Someone had created a shadow network, invisible to standard security sweeps. The kind of thing you'd need to coordinate complex operations. The kind of thing that required expertise, well beyond standard communications training. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling metadata, timestamps, access logs. building a profile of whoever had built this network. They were good, professional, but they'd made one mistake. They'd tested the system. A single ping, buried in 3,000 lines of routine traffic, sent from the ghost partition to an external IP address. Maya traced it through 6 proxy servers and hit a wall, military-grade encryption, NSA level. But the timing was what mattered. The test ping had been sent at 04:15, November 7th, 15 minutes after the relay installation. 15 minutes into Colonel Vickers' watch. Maya sat back, mind racing. Vickers was a 26-year veteran, decorated, respected, 3 combat deployments. He'd been her commanding officer for 8 months, and in that time he'd been nothing but professional. Also, in those 8 months, insurgent intelligence on FOB Sentinel had been unnaturally accurate. 3 patrols ambushed, 2 supply convoys hit, and now a drone strike that had bypassed every early warning system they had. She needed to report this. Protocol demanded it, but report to who? If Vickers was compromised, then chain of command was broken. Her hand moved to the encrypted phone, then stopped. Training whispered again. Different training, older, from a part of her life that officially didn't exist. When you suspect the command structure, you go outside the structure. Maya pulled up the personnel roster and began searching for names she recognized. Officers she'd served with before the 18-month gap in her memory, before she'd become an analyst. Before Syria. The thought hit her like a punch. Syria. The word triggered something, a flash of heat, gunfire, someone screaming her name. Ghost 7, get out. She gasped, gripping the desk. The memory vanished as quickly as it came, leaving only an echo of terror and the smell of burning cordite. Ma'am. Maya's head snapped around. Jake stood in the doorway, concerned. You okay? You went pale. She forced her expression neutral. Fine, adrenaline crash, casualties. 2 wounded at the motor pool. Medics have them. Ma'am, about earlier, that calculation you made. Drop it, Corporal. I'm just saying that's not normal. I said drop it. Her voice carried command weight she rarely used. Jake's mouth closed. He nodded once and left. Maya waited, counting to 60, then pulled up her own personnel file. Captain Maya Frost, age 34, commissioned through ROTC, University of Michigan, military intelligence officer. Current posting, S2 Intelligence FOB Sentinel. Previous posting, Tactical Intelligence Support, Germany. Clean, unremarkable, exactly what an analyst's file should look like. She scrolled back. Education, assignments, performance reviews, everything documented back to her commissioning in 2017. 7 years of service. Except Maya was 34, which meant she'd commissioned at 27, old for a lieutenant. The file explained it away with prior enlisted service. She'd been a signal analyst before going officer. Maya stared at the explanation. It felt wrong, like a story someone had told her so many times she'd started to believe it. She clicked on the enlisted service record. File not found. She tried again, same result. The link was there, but the data was gone, scrubbed, or never existed in the first place. Her pulse started climbing. She checked her medical records, standard immunizations, annual physicals, dental work, everything normal until 18 months ago. November 2017. A 6-week gap, no records. Then she'd reappeared in Germany, cleared for duty, assigned to intelligence analysis. Maya's hands started shaking again. 6 weeks, 6 weeks of her life just gone, and when she'd come back she'd been someone different, A different job, different skills, different life. The phone on her desk rang. She stared at it, secure line, internal only. 3 people had this number, her immediate supervisor, the FOB commander, and Colonel Vickers. It rang again. Maya picked up. "Captain Frost," Vickers' voice, calm, professional, "need you in my office, 5 minutes. "Sir, I'm in the middle of—" "Now, Captain." The line went dead. Maya sat motionless, instinct screaming. Vickers never demanded immediate presence. He was the type who scheduled meetings, sent agendas, operated by the book. Unless he knew she'd found something. Unless he needed to control the situation. She stood, grabbed her coffee and walked toward the door, paused, turned back, opened her desk drawer and pulled out the M4 carbine secured underneath. Standard procedure for everyone on the FOB. Everyone kept a weapon within reach. Maya had just never needed hers before. She checked the chamber, loaded, safety on. She slung it across her back and headed for Vickers' office. The corridor was quiet, too quiet for early evening. Usually there'd be off-duty soldiers heading to the chow hall, maintenance crews, the background noise of 500 people living in close quarters. Tonight, nothing. Maya's situational awareness kicked into overdrive. Sight lines, cover points, egress routes. Her brain mapped the corridor in tactical terms she definitely shouldn't know as an analyst. Vickers' office was in the admin building across the compound, 200 meters. Maya walked it in 3 minutes, noting every detail. 2 Humvees parked in unusual positions. 3 soldiers she didn't recognize near the motor pool. The western perimeter lights were dark. Small things, individually meaningless. Together they painted a picture. Something was wrong. She reached the admin building, climbed the stairs. The door to Vickers' office stood open. Light spilled into the hallway. Maya stopped 3 meters short and cleared her mind. Whatever happened in the next 5 minutes would determine whether she lived or died. She could feel it in her bones. "Captain Frost," Vickers' voice from inside, "come in." She entered. Vickers sat behind his desk, looking exactly as he always did. 51 years old, iron-gray hair, the kind of posture that came from 3 decades of military discipline. His uniform was pressed. His desk was organized, everything exactly where it belonged. Except his left hand. It trembled, just slightly, resting on the desk surface, fingers tapping an irregular rhythm. Maya filed that away and stood at parade rest. "You wanted to see me, sir." "The drone strike. Your call saved 12 lives. Well done." "Thank you, sir." "How'd you know which corner?" There it was, the same question Jake had asked, but from Vickers it carried weight. "Blast dynamics, sir. Basic physics." "Uh-huh." Vickers leaned back. "See, I pulled your file after the strike. Wanted to see what kind of training produces that level of tactical awareness. Your file says Signal Analyst, ROTC commission, no combat experience." Maya said nothing. "But that call you made, that's not analyst work. That's combat veteran instinct. The kind you only get from seeing explosions. Lots of them." "Sir, So I did some digging, called some friends at Personnel Command, asked about your enlisted service before you commissioned." The tremor in his hand got worse. "Funny thing, nobody has those records. They're classified above my pay grade, which is interesting because I'm a full colonel with a TS/SCI clearance." He leaned forward. "So I'll ask you straight. Who are you really, Captain Frost?" Maya's hand drifted closer to her sidearm. Not obviously, just ready. "I'm an intelligence analyst, sir. If there are gaps in my file, I'm not cleared to discuss them. Not cleared or don't remember. Her blood went cold, sir. Vickers opened his desk drawer, pulled out a file folder, dropped it on the desk between them. Ghost 7, Delta Force. Syria, November 2017. 12 operators went in, 1 came out, you. Maya's world tilted. I don't know what. The mission went sideways. Your team was compromised. You spent 6 weeks in a German hospital with traumatic brain injury and selective amnesia. When you recovered, the Army gave you a choice: medical discharge or reassignment with a new identity. He slid the folder toward her. You chose reassignment. They scrubbed your Delta service, gave you an analyst background, and sent you somewhere quiet, somewhere you could disappear. Maya stared at the folder. Her hand shook as she reached for it. Inside, a photograph. 12 soldiers in full tactical gear, faces obscured, but one was circled, smaller than the others, female. Beneath the photo, a single word in red ink. Ghost 7. That's you, Vickers said quietly. Captain Maya Frost, before they made you forget who you were. The room spun. Maya gripped the desk to stay upright. Images crashed through her mind. Desert, gunfire, blood on sand, a man's voice screaming for her to run. Ghost 7, exfil is blown, get out. She'd run, left her team, survived. And they'd all died. Why are you showing me this? Her voice came out raw. Vickers' expression softened. Because you need to remember tonight. Why tonight? Because the people who killed your team, they're here, and they're coming for you. He paused, studying her reaction, then continued, voice dropping lower. There's something else in that file, something you need to know about what you did before Syria, the missions they assigned you. Maya's stomach dropped. What missions? Ghost Protocol wasn't just foreign operations. Your unit ran domestic missions, elimination operations, on American soil. That's impossible. 17 targets over 2 years, foreign nationals living in the United States. Some were legitimate threats, some were political inconveniences. You pulled the trigger on all of them, following orders, believing you were protecting national security. Maya felt the room tilt again. 17 kills, 17 people dead by her hand, on American soil, without trials, without warrants. I don't remember any of that. That's what the amnesia was for, to make you forget, to give you a clean slate, but someone knows what you did, and they're coming to make sure you never remember. The lights went out. Not flickering, not gradual, 1 second light, next second absolute darkness, the kind that only comes when someone cuts power deliberately. Emergency lighting kicked in after 3 seconds, red, insufficient, painting Vickers' face in harsh shadows. Maya's training took over instantly. Her hand found the M4, pulled it from her back, flipped the safety selector to fire, all in under 2 seconds. Gunfire erupted outside, not random, controlled bursts, professional. The distinctive crack of M4 rifles mixing with the deeper boom of AK-47s, shouting in accented English, return fire, screaming. Vickers was already moving, sidearm drawn. All personnel, we are under attack. Arm yourselves. Establish defensive positions. He looked at Maya. This isn't a random hit. They disabled backup power. They know our layout. This is. The door exploded. Not opened, exploded. Someone had used breaching charges, blowing the reinforced security door off its hinges. It crashed inward, trailing smoke and debris. 4 men came through, dressed in mixed military gear and civilian clothes, faces covered, weapons up, firing. Vickers got off 2 shots before rounds hit his chest. Body armor caught them, but the impact threw him backward over his desk. Maya didn't think. She moved. Dove behind filing cabinets, brought her M4 up, flipped the selector, did something she'd been trained to do but had no conscious memory of learning. She started shooting back. 3-round burst, center mass, first attacker. He staggered, armor absorbing the rounds but taking him out of the fight. Second burst, leg shot, different target, he went down. Third burst, weapon hand, disarm, don't kill. The attackers scattered, taking cover, professional movement, coordinated. These weren't insurgents, these were operators. Maya's muscle memory took full control. She wasn't thinking anymore, just acting, years of training flooding back through her hands. She moved, bounded left, fired to suppress, rolled behind different cover. The attackers had expected return fire from a scared analyst. They got a ghost operator instead. One of them shouted something in Pashto, coordinating. They began to flank. Maya recognized the tactic instantly. Basic small unit movement, the kind taught to infantry worldwide. Also the kind she knew how to counter. Instead of defending, she attacked. Bounded right, fired a burst at the flanker, forced him into cover, rolled behind an overturned desk. The rightmost attacker had expected her to stay defensive. He moved toward her last position, weapon-oriented wrong. She came up from her new angle and put him down. Controlled fire, professional, clean. 2 attackers left. One threw something. Maya saw it arc through the air. Flashbang, not lethal, meant to disorient. They wanted prisoners. She squeezed her eyes shut and turned away. The bang was still deafening, still disorienting, but she'd minimized the effect. Kept moving, muscle memory guiding her toward the armory locker in the corner. Her fingers found the combination lock in the dark, spun it by feel, years of repetition making it automatic. Click open. Inside, fragmentation grenades, smoke grenades, additional ammunition. And something she'd never thought she'd see again. Her old combat kit. The one from Delta. The one that shouldn't exist. Maya grabbed it, pulled out the tactical vest. It fit perfectly, like coming home. More shooting from outside. Security forces responding, but they were being held back. Heavy volume of fire, professional suppression. This wasn't random. This was coordinated, multiple elements. Someone had studied FOB Sentinel's defenses and found every weakness. The remaining 2 attackers regrouped, started advancing more carefully. Smoke from the breaching charge filled the room, limited visibility. Maya pulled a frag grenade, checked the weight, calculated the throw. Pulled the pin, counted to 2, threw it toward their last position. The explosion was massive in the confined space. Shrapnel tore through equipment and flesh. One attacker's scream cut off. The other, wounded, tried to retreat. Maya didn't let him make it. 3 controlled shots, center mass, he went down. Silence fell, broken only by alarms, distant gunfire, her own harsh breathing. 4 attackers down. Maya stood in the wreckage of Vickers' office, surrounded by bodies, her M4 still raised. She'd killed 4 armed men in under 90 seconds. And it had felt like breathing. Jake's voice cracked through her radio. "Captain Frost, do you copy?" Maya found her radio, keyed it, "Copy." "Thank God, are you okay? We heard explosions." "I'm fine, where are you?" "Intelligence Center. We locked down when the shooting started. Ma'am, what's happening?" Maya looked at the bodies, at her hands, at the combat vest she was wearing. I'm not sure yet. Stay locked down. I'm coming to you. She moved to check on Vickers. He was alive, barely, bleeding from multiple wounds. His body armor had stopped the chest shots, but he'd taken hits to his arm and leg. Frost, he gasped, you remember yet? Some, not enough. The attackers, they're not here for the fob, they're here for you. Why? Because you're a witness to Syria, to what really happened. He coughed blood. The prisoners in detention block, they know about Syria too. What prisoners? 3 high-value targets, classified holding. They were there, they saw. His grip on her arm tightened. Frost, this whole attack, it's not about rescuing them, it's about killing them, silencing everyone who knows the truth. Maya's stomach dropped. What truth? Syria wasn't a failed mission. It was an execution, your whole team. Someone ordered the hit, someone high up, and if those prisoners talk, he choked, they'll expose everything. Who ordered it? Vickers tried to answer. Blood filled his mouth. His eyes went distant. Vickers, stay with me. But he was gone, dead eyes staring at nothing. Maya knelt there, hand on his shoulder, mind reeling. Her whole team murdered, by order, and she'd survived. Which meant whoever ordered it would want her dead too. She stood, grabbed extra ammunition from the locker, loaded herself down with gear, became something she hadn't been in 18 months. Became Ghost 7. Her radio crackled, different frequency, one she shouldn't be monitoring. Enemy communications. A voice spoke in clipped English. Packages located, detention block, moving to neutralize. Response, confirmed, 0 witnesses. Mercer wants total sanitization. Maya's blood turned to ice. Mercer. Colonel Daniel Mercer. Her old commanding officer in Delta, 58 years old. The man who'd led her team in Syria. The man she'd watched die in that ambush. Except apparently he hadn't died. And apparently he was here, ordering the execution of prisoners, ordering the sanitization of witnesses, ordering her death. Maya's hand tightened on her weapon. She moved to the window, looked out across the compound. Fires burning, bodies scattered, defenders trying to hold perimeter positions, and threading through it all shadows in tactical gear, moving with purpose, professional, deadly. Ghost operators. Her old unit. Coming to finish what they'd started in Syria. Maya checked her weapon. 30 rounds, 4 magazines total, not enough for a sustained fight, but enough to make a difference. She keyed her radio. Reeves, change of plans. I need you to evacuate the intelligence center. Get everyone to the shelter. Ma'am, what about you? Maya looked at her reflection in the shattered window, saw Ghost 7 looking back. I have work to do. She jumped through the window into smoke and darkness, hit the ground rolling, came up moving, weapon up, scanning. 2 attackers ahead, 50 meters, moving toward detention block. Maya raised her M4, calculated range, wind, elevation, squeezed trigger. 1 shot, the rear attacker went down, leg wound, his partner spun, searching for the shooter. Maya was already gone, relocated, ghost operator protocol, fire and vanish. She moved through the compound like a predator, every step calculated, every sight line considered. The training was there, had always been there, just buried under 18 months of artificial amnesia. Now it was all coming back. The attackers were good, professional, but Maya had one advantage. She'd trained with them, knew their tactics, knew their patterns, knew how they thought. She reached detention block first. 3 cells, 3 prisoners, all high value, all scheduled for transfer tomorrow. All still alive. One prisoner looked up as Maya entered, middle-aged, scarred, eyes that had seen too much. "You're Ghost 7, he said in accented English. "I remember you, Syria." Maya pointed her weapon at him. "Talk fast. What happened in Syria?" "Your team was sent to kill ISIS commander, but commander was already dead. We killed him. Your team walked into trap. Someone wanted you dead. Someone American." "Who?" The prisoner smiled, bitter. "The man giving orders tonight, Mercer. He sold you out, took money from Russians. Your team knew too much, so he sent you to die." Footsteps outside, multiple close. Maya made a decision in half a second. Opened the cells. "Run, south exit, stay quiet, stay alive." "Why help us?" "Because if you die, the truth dies with you." The prisoners ran. Maya stayed behind, positioned herself in the cell block, weapon ready. The attackers came through the door, expecting helpless prisoners. They found Ghost 7 instead. Maya opened fire, controlled bursts, professional targeting. 2 went down immediately, the others scattered. One shouted into his radio, "Ghost is here, she's protecting the packages." Response came back, different voice, older, carrying authority Maya recognized with sick certainty. "Colonel Mercer." "Interesting, very interesting. Ghost 7 been a long time." Maya keyed the enemy frequency. "Not long enough." Mercer laughed. "You remember me, good. Means the amnesia is breaking down. Means you remember Syria." "I remember you left us to die." "I did what was necessary. Your team had become a liability. Too many questions. Too much curiosity. The mission in Syria was always about elimination. You murdered your own soldiers." "I followed orders, just like you did, just like you still do apparently, protecting those prisoners, still playing hero." Maya moved while talking, relocated, set up new position. "They're witnesses to your treason." "Treason?" Mercer sighed. "Such an ugly word. I prefer pragmatism. The Russians paid well. Your team was going to expose it, so I cleaned house. Simple math." "And me?" "You were supposed to die in Syria. Instead you survived with convenient amnesia. I thought that was poetic. Let you live a quiet life. Forget everything. But then you started digging. Started asking questions. Started remembering." Maya's hands tightened on her weapon. "So you came to finish the job." "I came to correct an oversight. Ghost 7 dies tonight, along with those prisoners, along with anyone else who knows the truth. This fob will be a tragedy. Insurgent attack, total loss. Very sad. There are 200 people here. Acceptable casualties." Maya felt rage flood through her. Cold, focused, the kind that made her dangerous. "You're going to kill everyone." "I'm going to erase evidence. You taught me that actually. Back when we worked together, always sanitize, always complete the mission, no witnesses." "I never taught you to murder Americans." "No, you just followed orders, which made you complicit, which makes you just as guilty as me." The words hit like bullets, because they were true. Maya had followed orders in Syria, had trusted Mercer, had led her team into that ambush because her commanding officer told her to. And they died because she'd been a good soldier. "I'm nothing like you," she said. "Keep telling yourself that. Won't change what happens next. You have 10 minutes before we level this entire facility. Spend them however you want. Make peace, pray, run, won't matter." The radio went dead. Maya stood in the detention block, alone, surrounded by evidence of violence she'd committed, and made a choice. She could run, take the prisoner's south exit, disappear into the desert, save herself. Or she could fight, protect the 200 soldiers on this fob who had no idea they were about to be murdered by their own side. It wasn't really a choice. Maya keyed her radio, broadcast on all fob frequencies. All personnel, this is Captain Frost. We are under coordinated attack by hostile forces planning to destroy this facility. I am assuming tactical command. Acknowledge by sector. Silence, then voices started responding, confused, scared, but responding. Jake's voice cut through. Ma'am, you can't just assume command. I just did, Corporal. Get to the armory. Start distributing ammunition. We have 10 minutes to turn this fob into a fortress. Move. She started issuing orders. Grid coordinates, fire sectors, overlapping fields of fire, defense in depth. Textbook tactics she shouldn't know as an analyst. But Ghost 7 knew them perfectly. Soldiers moved, followed orders, didn't question, didn't ask how an intelligence officer knew small unit tactics like a Delta operator. They just obeyed. Maya moved through the compound, directed personnel, positioned heavy weapons, created kill zones, all while her mind raced. Mercer had 10 minutes, which meant he had something big, probably artillery, maybe airstrike, something that would level the fob and make it look like enemy action. She needed to disrupt his timeline, make him commit forces, draw him in close where artillery couldn't be used without killing his own people. Make it personal. Maya found Jake at the armory, distributing weapons. Corporal, I need you to do something for me. Ma'am. Take 12 soldiers, best shots you have, put them on the perimeter buildings, elevated positions. Tell them to engage any target outside the wire but do not kill. Wound only. Make them casualties that need evacuation. Jake stared. Why not kill shots? Because dead men are easy to leave behind. Wounded men are anchors. They slow down the enemy, make them choose between mission and brothers. We exploit that. Jake searched for words, that's brutal. That's survival, can you do it? He nodded, ran to gather shooters. Maya moved to the command post, or what was left of it, found a working radio, dialed in the frequency she knew Mercer would be monitoring. Ghost 7 to Mercer. Your timeline is broken. I've fortified this fob. You want to level it, you'll kill your own operators, so either abort or come in close. Your call. Static, then Mercer's voice, amused. You're bluffing. You don't have enough personnel to hold against a sustained assault. Try me. More static, Maya counted seconds, waiting. Finally, interesting. You're gambling I won't sacrifice my own people. That's a bad bet, Ghost. I've done it before. Then do it again. See if they follow you when they realize you're willing to kill them for convenience. Silence, long enough that Maya thought she'd won. Then Mercer laughed. You know what? I'm going to enjoy this. I'm coming in personally. We'll settle Syria face to face. You and me like it should have been. Looking forward to it. Maya killed the radio and allowed herself 3 seconds of fear. She just called in the devil, committed to a fight she couldn't win, promised a confrontation with a man who'd already beaten her once. But she'd bought time, and with time came options. She moved to the highest point on the fob, an observation tower overlooking the whole compound, climbed the ladder, reached the top. From here she could see everything. The fires, the defensive positions, the bodies, the chaos. And beyond the wire, moving in the darkness, thermal signatures. Mercer's force, 20 contacts, maybe more, professional spacing, tactical approach. Coming to finish what Syria had started. Maya checked her weapon, 4 magazines, 120 rounds, against 20 operators. Bad odds. But she'd faced worse. Hadn't she? She tried to remember, tried to pull details from Syria. What had happened in those final minutes? Why had she survived when 12 others died? The memory came in flashes, gunfire, explosions, a voice on the radio. Go 7, fall back, it's a trap. She'd fallen back, left her team, saved herself. No. That wasn't right. She tried to help, tried to extract them, but someone had cut the communications. Someone had jammed the frequencies. Someone had made sure Ghost 7 couldn't call for help, couldn't coordinate, couldn't save anyone. Someone had wanted her isolated. Wanted her to watch her team die. Wanted her to survive with the guilt. Mercer. It had always been Mercer. Maya's hands tightened on the rifle, not shaking anymore, steady, cold. 18 months of running, 18 months of hiding, 18 months of pretending to be someone she wasn't. It ended tonight. Below, the first shots rang out, her shooters engaging targets, wounding, creating chaos. Mercer's force adapted, professional, disciplined, but slowed, exactly as planned. Maya watched them move, calculated their approach, predicted their pattern. Then she saw something that made her blood run cold. A figure moving separate from the main force, smaller, faster, heading directly for the intelligence center. Heading for Jake and the analysts. Maya was moving before conscious thought, down the ladder, sprinting across the compound, weapon up, scanning. She reached the intelligence center, door breached, smoke inside. No. She went through low, fast, professional entry. Found Jake on the floor, unconscious, bleeding from his head. Found 3 analysts zip-tied, terrified. Found a figure in black tactical gear searching the servers. Maya raised her M4, don't move. The figure froze, turned slowly. Removed the mask. General Rachel Cross stared back at her, 56 years old, silver hair, cold eyes. Maya's commanding officer. Hello, Captain Frost, Cross said calmly. We need to talk. Maya didn't lower her weapon. About what? About who you really are. About what really happened in Syria. About the choice you're going to make in the next 60 seconds. What choice? Cross smiled, sad, tired. Whether to trust me or trust Mercer. Why would I trust either of you? Because one of us is trying to save you, and one of us is trying to kill you, and you have about 30 seconds to figure out which is which before Mercer's assault team breaches this building. Maya's finger tightened on the trigger. Start talking. Cross pulled a tablet from her vest, brought up a file, turned it to show Maya. On screen, classified documentation. Operation Ghost Protocol, Delta Force Black Operations, unauthorized missions, foreign assassinations on U.S. soil. And at the bottom of every mission report, 2 signatures. Colonel Daniel Mercer. Captain Maya Frost. Maya stared at her own signature, dated 2 years ago, authorizing kills, confirming targets eliminated. Missions she had no memory of. You weren't just Delta, Cross said quietly. You were Mercer's personal operator, his ghost, the one who did the jobs too dark for official record. You killed 17 people in 14 months, all on American soil, all foreign nationals, all without warrants or trials. That's impossible. It's documented, verified, and if it goes public, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison, which is why Mercer wants you dead. You're the only witness left who can expose him, and why I'm here to offer you a deal." Gunfire erupted outside, closer now. The assault team was breaching the perimeter. "What deal?" Maya demanded. "Help me bring down Mercer. Testify about Ghost Protocol. In exchange, immunity, witness protection, a real new life. And if I refuse, then you die tonight, along with everyone in this fob. Mercer's already called in an airstrike. 20 minutes. This whole facility becomes a crater. Insurgent attack. Tragic, neat, clean." Maya's world was spinning. Too many revelations. Too many betrayals. She didn't know what to believe anymore. "How do I know you're telling the truth?" Cross's expression softened. "You don't. You have to trust someone, Maya. Me or Mercer, choose." Explosions rocked the building. Mercer's team was inside. Maya made a decision she'd regret for the rest of her life. She lowered her weapon. "Get them out," she said, gesturing to Jake and the analysts. "South exit, stay quiet." "What about you?" Maya checked her rifle, locked a fresh magazine. "I'm going to buy you time." "That's suicide." "Probably." Cross grabbed her arm. "Maya, you don't have to do this. Come with us. Let me protect you." Maya met her eyes. "You said I killed 17 people. Did they deserve it?" "Does it matter?" "It matters to me." Cross hesitated, then nodded. They were threats, enemy agents, terrorists, but yes, they deserved it. "Then I'll add 20 more to the list tonight." Maya pulled free. "Get them out, General. That's an order." She moved before Cross could argue, out of the intelligence center, into smoke and chaos. Mercer's assault team was advancing. 10 operators, professional formation. Maya counted them through thermal signature and muzzle flash. 10 against 1. She smiled. Finally fair odds. Maya opened fire. The fight that followed would be analyzed for years in tactical training courses. 1 operator against 10. Inferior numbers. No support. No backup. And she held them. Not through luck, through skill. Through every piece of training Delta had burned into her muscle memory. Fire and move, shoot and relocate. Never stay in one place. Never give them a target. She wounded 3 in the first minute. Killed 1 at 45 seconds when he tried to flank and exposed himself. Mercer's voice on the radio. "Ghost 7 is defending the intelligence center. All teams converge." More operators coming. 20 became 30. Maya adjusted, fell back, set traps, used the environment, turned the fob into a maze of death. She was losing slowly, inevitably, but she was buying time. Cross and the analysts escaped, Jake among them, unconscious but alive. Maya saw them disappear into the darkness and felt something like peace. Then a voice behind her. "Hello, Maya." She spun, weapon up. Colonel Mercer stood 10 feet away, weapon lowered, hands visible. "Don't," he said calmly. "Shoot me and my snipers drop you. 3 laser sights on your head right now. Check." Maya glanced up. 3 red dots on nearby buildings. Professional hides. She'd never seen them set up. She lowered her weapon. Not surrender, just math. "Took you long enough," she said. Mercer smiled. "Had to make sure it was really you. The real Ghost 7, not the broken analyst they turned you into." "What do you want?" "I want you to understand. Syria, the missions, everything. I want you to know why. You sold out to the Russians, murdered your own team. What's to understand? The Russians paid, yes, but not for betrayal, for information on ISIS command structure, information that saved American lives. The money-funded operations Congress would never approve, Ghost Protocol. We eliminated threats the government was too afraid to touch. We murdered people on American soil. We eliminated enemies. There's a difference. Maya laughed, bitter. You actually believe that. I know that, and deep down, so do you. You pulled those triggers, Maya, 17 times. You knew what you were doing. I don't remember. You will. The amnesia is breaking, and when you remember everything, you'll realize something. He stepped closer. We were heroes. We did the dirty work, made the hard calls, kept America safe. By becoming the thing we fought. By being willing to get our hands dirty, something you understood, until Syria broke you. Maya's grip tightened. You set us up. I made a choice. The mission was compromised. Russian intel had a source in our team. If we proceeded, everyone died and the mission failed. So I sacrificed the team to kill the mole and complete the objective. Who was the mole? Mercer's smile faded. You were, Maya, you just don't remember. The words hit like a physical blow. That's a lie. Russian intelligence cultivated you for 8 months, fed you intel, made you think you were playing them, but they were playing you. And when I found out, I had 2 options: court-martial my best operator, or eliminate the threat and salvage the mission. So you murdered everyone. I saved you, gave you amnesia, new life, clean slate. You were supposed to forget everything and live quietly, but you couldn't leave it alone. Maya stared at him, at this man she trusted, followed, believed in. I don't believe you. Then believe this. In 10 minutes an air strike levels this fob. You, me, everyone's still here. I'm giving you one chance. Come with me. Join my new operation. Use your skills for something that matters. Lord. Or die here, your choice. Maya looked around, at the burning compound, the bodies, the chaos she'd created trying to save people. People who might already be dead. She looked at Mercer, at the monster wearing a patriot's face. And she made her choice. I'll take option 3. She pulled the detonator from her vest, the one she'd rigged while talking, the one connected to every explosive charge she'd placed during her defensive prep. Mercer's eyes went wide. You wouldn't. I absolutely would. She pressed the button. The world exploded. The world stopped exploding. Maya Frost stood in the crater that used to be forward operating base Sentinel's motor pool, ears ringing, tasting copper and cordite. Smoke curled through emergency lighting like dying ghosts. Around her, fires burned with chemical intensity, casting shadows that moved wrong, looked alive. She'd pressed the detonator, triggered every charge she'd planted during her defensive preparations, turned the compound into a maze of fire and collapsed corridors, sealed off routes, created choke points, made the fob her weapon. And Colonel Mercer had been standing right there when she did it. Maya's hands shook as she lowered the empty detonator. She scanned the rubble, looking for a body, looking for confirmation, looking for proof that the man who'd haunted her fractured memories was finally, actually dead. Nothing, just smoke and burning metal and the screams of wounded soldiers who'd been caught in the blasts. Her radio crackled, Jake's voice strained but alive. Captain, what the hell just happened? Half the base just went up. Maya keyed her transmit. Controlled demolition, creating defensive perimeters, status on evacuation. Most personnel are clear. General Cross got them out before the blasts, but ma'am, we've got wounded, people trapped in collapsed sections. We need to. Negative, hold position. The attack isn't over. Ma'am, I'm looking at thermal. Enemy forces are pulling back. We won. Maya laughed. No humor in it. Just the sound of someone who'd seen too much to believe in winning. We didn't win anything, Corporal. We just changed the battlefield. She moved through the wreckage, weapon up, scanning for threats. Her tactical awareness had kicked into overdrive. Every shadow was an enemy. Every sound was danger. The amnesia that had protected her for 18 months was completely shattered now. She remembered everything. Delta Force, Ghost Protocol, Syria, the betrayal, Mercer dragging her unconscious body from that kill zone while her team died, the 6 weeks in a German hospital, the offer to forget, the choice to disappear. All of it rushing back like floodwater through a broken dam. And with the memories came skills, muscle memory, training so deep it had survived brain injury and manufactured amnesia. She moved through the compound like she owned it, because part of her did. The Ghost 7 part, the operator part, the killer. She reached the bunker where Mercer had been standing. The structure was collapsed. Reinforced concrete reduced to rubble. No one could have survived that blast at ground zero. Except the rubble had been disturbed. Recently, someone had dug out, created a tunnel, escaped. Maya knelt, examining the displaced rocks. Professional work. Efficient. Exactly what a Delta operator would do if trapped. Exactly what Mercer would do. "You're alive," she said to the empty air. "Of course you are." Her radio crackled again. Different frequency. Enemy channel she'd been monitoring. A voice she recognized with sick certainty. Colonel Daniel Mercer. Alive, amused. "Nice try with the explosives, Ghost 7. Almost got me." Maya's finger found her transmit button. Should have used more C4. Probably, but then you'd have killed more of your own people. That's always been your weakness. You care too much. Caring isn't weakness. It is when it gets you killed, which it's about to. Maya scanned the compound, thermal imaging through her scope, looking for heat signatures, finding them, 20 contacts, 30, moving in coordinated patterns, professional spacing. Mercer's assault force, regrouping after her demolition stunt, preparing for a second push. "You're running out of tricks," Mercer continued. "Out of ammunition, out of options. Surrender now and I'll make it quick. Keep fighting and I'll let my boys get creative." Maya checked her weapon. 2 magazines left. 60 rounds against 30 operators. Bad math, worse odds. "I'll take my chances." She moved before Mercer could respond. Relocated to a new position. Ghost Protocol. Never stay where the enemy expects. Never give them a target. Her brain shifted into tactical mode. Pure calculation. No emotion. Just mission parameters and threat assessment. She needed to slow down Mercer's assault. Buy time for the evacuation. Give Cross and Jake a chance to get everyone clear. Then she could die fighting, if that's what it took. But first, she needed intelligence. Needed to know what she was facing. Needed to understand Mercer's actual objective because this whole attack felt wrong. Too elaborate for a simple elimination. Too many resources committed to killing one operator. Maya worked her way to the western perimeter, found high ground, an observation tower that had survived the demolition. She climbed fast, weapons slung, hands finding holds by muscle memory. At the top, she had clear sight lines across the entire compound. Could see Cross's helicopters lifting off in the distance. Could see fires burning. Could see Mercer's forces maneuvering into assault positions. And she could see something else, something that made her blood run cold. 3 figures, separated from the main assault force, moving toward the detention facility, the building that had housed the 3 high-value prisoners, the witnesses to Syria, the people Mercer needed dead to protect his secrets. Except Maya had already freed those prisoners, sent them running during the first assault. They should be long gone by now. Unless they weren't. Unless they'd been recaptured. Unless Mercer's people had been hunting them this whole time while Maya had been fighting her way through the compound. She keyed her radio, all channels, hoping the prisoners were monitoring something, anything. Ghost 7 to packages. If you can hear this, sound off. What's your status? Static, then a voice, accented English, scared. Ghost 7, this is package 1. We are pinned down, South Detention Block. They found us. Maya's world narrowed to a single point. 3 prisoners, 3 witnesses. The only people who could prove Mercer had committed treason in Syria. She could abandon them, save herself. Let Mercer clean up his loose ends. Or she could do what Ghost operators did, protect the mission, complete the objective, even if it meant dying in the process. Not really a choice. Package 1, hold position. I'm coming for you. She didn't wait for a response. Dropped from the tower, hit the ground rolling, came up running, weapon in hand. Ghost 7 fully operational. The detention facility was 400 meters across open ground. Fire zones, kill boxes, every tactical disadvantage imaginable. Maya would be exposed, vulnerable, target-rich environment for any competent marksman. She ran anyway. 50 meters, 100. Rounds started cracking past her head, professional shooting, suppressive fire, not aimed to kill, aimed to stop, to pin her down, to make her take cover. Maya didn't take cover. She serpentined, changed pace, changed direction, made herself a hard target. Rounds chewed up the ground around her, but none connected. Not luck, skill, training. The muscle memory of someone who'd survived worse. 200 meters. She could see the detention facility now. See the 3 operators moving to breach. See the muzzle flashes from inside where the prisoners were making their last stand. Maya raised her M4, still running, still moving, fired a 3-round burst at the nearest operator, not a kill shot. Leg wound, made him tactical liability, made his buddies choose between mission and brother. They chose brother, broke off the breach to provide cover, dragged their wounded to safety, exactly as Maya had predicted, exactly what she'd counted on. She reached the detention facility, went through the breach point the operators had been preparing to use, found the 3 prisoners huddled in a corner cell, armed with weapons they'd scavenged, determined, defiant, ready to die fighting. On your feet, Maya ordered. We're leaving. The leader, the one who'd recognized her earlier, stared. You came back. Why? Because you're witnesses, because Mercer wants you dead, because I'm done letting him win. She grabbed the man's arm, pulled him up. Now move, we don't have time. They moved, 4 people, 1 trained operator, 3 civilians with guns and courage but minimal tactical awareness. Maya led them through the detention facility, not toward the exits. Those would be covered, watched, kill zones. Instead, she led them down, into the maintenance level, into the service tunnels she'd studied during her first week at FOB Sentinel. The tunnels that officially didn't exist on most base maps but showed up in the old Soviet-era blueprints she'd found in the archives. Old Ranger habits, always know the exits, always have an escape route. They descended into darkness. Emergency lighting down here had failed. Only Maya's night vision painted the world in green phosphor. The prisoners stumbled blind behind her, hands on each other's shoulders, trusting her to lead. Where are we going? One asked. Out, there's an emergency egress shaft 200 meters south. Leads to the surface outside the wire. We get there, we're clear. And if Mercer knows about this tunnel, then we fight our way through, same as always. They moved in silence after that. Maya counted steps, measured distance. Her mental map of the tunnel system played out in her head with perfect clarity. Another gift from Delta training. Another skill that had survived 18 months of forced amnesia. 100 meters, 150. She could hear sounds behind them now, boots on metal, voices, pursuers. Mercer's people had found the tunnel entrance, were following. Maya stopped, turned to the prisoners. Keep going straight, 200 paces. You'll find the shaft, climb, don't look back, don't wait for me. What are you doing? Buying time, go now. They went, disappeared into the darkness. Maya turned to face the pursuit, set up a defensive position. One operator against unknown numbers in a confined space with limited ammunition. Terrible tactical situation, perfect for someone with nothing to lose. She waited, controlled her breathing, listened to the footsteps getting closer, counted the rhythm, 4 sets, 4 pursuers, maybe more behind them, maybe not. They came around the corner, night vision goggles glowing, weapons up, professional formation. Maya opened fire. The confined space magnified the muzzle flash, magnified the noise, made it apocalyptic. Her first burst caught the lead operator's center mass. Body armor stopped the rounds, but the impact staggered him back into his teammates. Chaos in the confined space. Exactly what Maya wanted. She fired again, controlled bursts, professional targeting, not trying for kills, just trying to create disorder, make them stumble, make them fall. One went down with a leg wound. Another took rounds to his weapon, disarming him. The remaining 2 scattered, took what cover they could find in a tunnel that offered none. Maya was already moving, fire and vanish, Ghost Protocol core tactic. She relocated 50 meters, set up a new position, waited for them to advance again. They came more carefully this time, tactical leapfrog, one covering while the other moved, professional, disciplined, Delta trained. Maya smiled in the darkness. She'd trained with these people, knew their tactics, knew their patterns, and she knew something they didn't. She knew this tunnel, every inch, every junction, every maintenance access point. While they advanced down the main passage, Maya climbed into a ventilation shaft, moved parallel to their position, got ahead of them, dropped back into the tunnel behind their advance. Now she was hunting them. She moved silent, weapon slung, knife in hand, close quarters, personal, the way ghost operators worked when ammunition was precious and noise was dangerous. The rear operator never heard her coming. She took him from behind, professional technique, hand over mouth, blade to the throat, not a kill, just unconsciousness. She lowered him quietly and kept moving. The second operator noticed his partner missing, keyed his radio. Phantom 4, report. Silence. Phantom 4, do you copy? Maya's voice came back over his radio. She'd taken the unconscious operator's comm set. He's taking a nap. You're next. The operator spun, weapon up, searching, but Maya was already gone, back in the ventilation system, moving, hunting. This was what she was good at, what Delta had made her, what 18 months of pretending to be an analyst hadn't erased. She was a ghost, a hunter, a predator in human form. And these operators had just become prey. 10 minutes later, Maya emerged from the tunnel system alone. 4 pursuers neutralized, none dead, all unconscious or wounded. She'd made a choice in those dark tunnels, could have killed them, should have tactically. They were enemy combatants, legitimate targets. But they were also American soldiers, operators who'd followed orders, who probably didn't even know they were working for a traitor. Killing them would make her the thing Mercer had become, the thing she'd spent 18 months trying not to be. So she'd shown mercy, left them alive, let them report back to Mercer that Ghost 7 was operational, was hunting, was dangerous. Let him know she was coming for him. She found the egress shaft, climbed to the surface, emerged in the Syrian night outside the fob perimeter, found the 3 prisoners waiting. They'd followed her instructions, climbed out, stayed quiet, survived. "You actually came," the leader said, wonder in his voice. "I didn't think you would." "I gave my word." "Your word," the man laughed, bitter. "In our world, words mean nothing, only power, only violence." "Then I guess we're from different worlds." She led them away from the fob, into the desert, toward coordinates Cross had given her during their brief conversation in the intelligence center. Extraction point, safe house, somewhere the prisoners could disappear until this was over. They walked for an hour, 2. The fob fell behind them, became a glow on the horizon, then nothing, just darkness and stars and the sound of boots on sand. Maya's radio crackled, encrypted channel, Cross's voice. "Captain Frost, what's your status?" "Mobile, 3 packages secure, moving to extraction point Echo." "Negative, extraction point Echo is compromised. Mercer's people are waiting there." Maya stopped walking. "How do you know that?" "Because I've been monitoring Mercer's communications. He knew you'd head for Echo. It's the obvious choice. He's got a 10-man team set up in ambush." "Then where do we go?" "New coordinates incoming. Extraction point Whiskey. It's further, but it's clear. My helicopter will pick you up at dawn." Maya checked her watch. 4 hours until dawn. 4 hours of walking through hostile territory with 3 exhausted civilians and dwindling ammunition. "Copy, proceeding to Whiskey." She changed course, led the prisoners in a new direction, didn't tell them about the ambush, didn't tell them how close they'd come to walking into a kill zone, just kept moving, kept them alive, kept the mission going. One of the prisoners, younger than the others, spoke up. "Ghost 7, that's what they call you. What does it mean?" Maya walked in silence for 10 paces, then answered. "It means I'm the 7th operator in a unit that doesn't officially exist. It means I'm deniable, expendable. It means if I die out here, there won't be a flag on my coffin or a stone with my name." "That's terrible." "That's the job." "Why do it then? Why serve people who treat you like that?" Maya thought about the question, about Delta, about Ghost Protocol, about 18 months of trying to be someone else and discovering you can't outrun what you are. Because someone has to. Because there are threats that can't be fought with lawyers and legislation. Because the world needs people willing to get their hands dirty so everyone else can sleep safe. Even if it costs everything. Especially then. They walked in silence after that. Maya scanned the horizon, watched for pursuit, calculated distances and time. They'd reach extraction point Whiskey with maybe 30 minutes to spare. Tight, but doable. Unless Mercer had anticipated the change. Unless he'd positioned forces at both extraction points. Unless this was all part of some larger game Maya didn't understand yet. Her radio crackled again. Different frequency. Enemy channel, Mercer's voice. "Ghost 7, I know you're listening. I know you're heading for extraction point Whiskey, and I know Cross is feeding you intelligence." Maya didn't respond, just kept walking, kept scanning. "You should ask yourself something," Mercer continued. "How does Cross know so much about my operations? How does she know where my teams are positioned? How does she know my communications protocols?" Good questions. Questions Maya should have asked earlier. Questions she'd been too busy surviving to consider. "I'll tell you how," Mercer said. "Because she's playing both sides. She's feeding you information while feeding me yours. Keeping us fighting while she builds her case. Uses us to eliminate each other. Then swoops in to clean up whoever's left." "He's lying," Cross's voice cut in on the encrypted channel. "Don't listen to him, Maya. He's trying to turn you against me." Two voices, two stories, both plausible, both terrifying. Maya had no way to know who was telling the truth. "Think about it," Mercer said. "Cross knew about the attack on the FOB before it happened. She had helicopters ready, had evacuation procedures in place. How? Unless she knew it was coming, unless she wanted it to happen." "I have intelligence assets," Cross replied on her channel. "I've been investigating Ghost Protocol for months. I knew Mercer was planning something." "Or you planned it yourself," Mercer countered. "Used my name, my reputation, coordinated an attack that would force Maya to remember who she is, force her to become Ghost 7 again, make her useful." Maya stopped walking. The prisoners looked at her, concerned. She raised a hand. "Keep moving, keep quiet." "Both of you shut up," she transmitted on both channels simultaneously. "I'm done being manipulated." Silence on both frequencies. Then Mercer laughed. "Good. That's the Ghost 7 I trained. Question everything, trust no one. Including you. Especially me. I taught you that too." His voice turned serious. "But ask yourself this. If I wanted you dead, why am I talking to you? Why not just send my teams to kill you and take the prisoners?" "Because you want me to bring them to you. Make this easy." "If I wanted easy, I'd have leveled that FOB with you in it. Instead, I've been running a surgical operation. Minimal casualties, precision strikes, because I don't want to kill Americans. I want to eliminate threats and protect national security." Cross's voice again. "He's manipulating you. Everything he says is designed to make you doubt, to make you hesitate. Don't fall for it." "Or," Mercer said, "everything she says is designed to keep you dependent, keep you following orders, keep you being the weapon she aims at her enemies." Maya's head throbbed. Too many voices, too many competing narratives. She needed facts, evidence, something concrete to base decisions on. "Both of you listen carefully," she transmitted. "I'm getting these prisoners to safety. After that, I'm coming for answers, real answers, and whoever's lying to me is going to regret it." She killed both radios, pulled the batteries, went dark. No more voices in her head except her own. The prisoners were staring at her. "Are we safe?" one asked. Maya looked at him, at the hope in his eyes, the trust, the belief that she could protect them. "No," she said honestly. "We're not safe. We won't be safe until this is over. But I'm going to do everything I can to keep you alive. That's the best I can offer." "Then we trust you. We have no choice." "You always have a choice. You're choosing to follow me. I respect that. Won't let you down." They kept moving. Dawn crept closer. The desert started revealing itself in shades of gray. On the horizon, Maya could see structures, buildings, the extraction point approaching. Too quiet. No helicopter sounds. No signs of Cross's promised rescue. Maya's instincts screamed. Something was wrong. She dropped to a crouch, signaled the prisoners to do the same, pulled out her weapon, scanned the buildings through her scope. There, movement, thermal signatures, people waiting in the structures, weapons, tactical positions. Ambush, just like Mercer had said. But whose ambush? Cross's people waiting to extract them, or Mercer's people waiting to kill them? Maya needed intelligence, needed to identify the force before committing. She couldn't afford to walk into a friendly position shooting, couldn't afford to walk into an enemy position trusting. She moved forward alone, left the prisoners hidden, closed the distance to 200 meters, 150, used her scope to study the waiting force. American tactical gear, professional positioning, but no identifying marks, no unit patches, no flags. Ghost operators, could be Mercers, could be Crosses, Could be a third party she didn't even know about yet. One way to find out. Maya pulled a radio from a dead operator she'd taken in the tunnels, powered it on, scanned for active frequencies, found one, listened. Voices, tactical chatter, call signs she didn't recognize, but the speech patterns were familiar, the cadence, the terminology. Delta operators, but not Ghost Protocol, regular Delta, official military. Which made no sense. Official Delta shouldn't be here. This was a black site, unauthorized operations. The military would have no reason to deploy regular forces. Unless someone had called them in. Unless someone had reported a rogue operation. Unless this whole situation had gone official. Maya keyed the captured radio. "This is Captain Maya Frost, calling Ghost 7. Identify yourself." Silence, then a voice, male, authoritative. "Ghost 7, this is Delta 26 Actual. We're here on orders from JSOC. Stand down and approach with hands visible." Joint Special Operations Command. The people who ran Delta Force. The people who'd allegedly erased Maya's service record and given her a new identity. "What orders?" Maya asked. "Orders to secure 3 high-value targets and extract one Captain Maya Frost for debriefing. You're not in trouble. We're here to help." "Who sent those orders?" "That's classified, but I can tell you we've been tracking this situation for 6 hours. We know about the attack on Fob Sentinel. We know about Ghost Protocol. We know you've been fighting for your life. It's over now. Come in. Let us handle this." It sounded good, sounded real, sounded like salvation. Which made Maya suspicious. Because in her experience, salvation didn't show up in the Syrian desert with 12 Delta operators and convenient orders. "I need verification," she transmitted. "Give me authentication code Lima 7. Lima 7 was a personal authentication protocol. Something only Maya and her old Delta commander would know. Something that couldn't be faked or intercepted because it had never been written down. Just memorized. Shared between 2 people who trusted each other with their lives. Silence on the radio. Long enough to make Maya's suspicions crystallize into certainty. "Ghost 7, we don't have that authentication code. It's not in your file." "Then you're not who you say you are." Maya was moving before they could respond. Back to the prisoners, fast. "Get up, we're compromised, move now." They ran, no questions, just trusted her judgment and ran. Behind them the ambush force mobilized. No more pretending, no more waiting. They'd been made and now it was a chase. 12 operators against 1 and 3 civilians. The math was getting worse. Maya ran tactical, not straight away. That would make them easy targets. She zigzagged, used terrain, made the pursuers work for every meter, bought time to think. Who were those operators? Not Cross's people. She'd have used the proper authentication, not regular Delta. They'd have the code, which meant third party, someone else in this game. Someone who wanted the prisoners and wanted Maya. Someone with resources and authority. The CIA. The realization hit like a bullet. The agency. The people who ran black operations, who recruited operators for deniable missions, who'd probably been running Ghost Protocol as an off-books asset. And if Ghost Protocol was being exposed, investigated, threatened with oversight, then the agency would want to sanitize, eliminate everyone involved, destroy the evidence, make it all disappear. Including Maya. Her radio crackled, different voice, female, cold. "Captain Frost, this is Control, stop running, you can't win this." "Who are you?" "I'm the person who's been trying to keep you alive. The person who gave you 18 months of peace. The person who's about to run out of patience." "Gross." Not exactly, but close enough. The woman you know as General Cross is operating under my authority. She's been feeding you intelligence I approved, keeping you useful, keeping you alive, because I wanted to give you a chance. Maya kept running, kept the prisoners moving, didn't slow down. A chance at what? At survival, at redemption, at being something more than a ghost. But you're making this difficult. You're supposed to trust Cross, follow her guidance. Help us eliminate Mercer and close down Ghost Protocol quietly. Why would I help you do that? Because the alternative is we kill everyone involved. You, Mercer, every ghost operator, every witness. We burn it all and salt the earth. Is that what you want? I want the truth. The truth, the woman laughed, cold. The truth is Ghost Protocol was necessary. The operations were authorized. The targets were legitimate threats, but now it's politically inconvenient, so it ends. The question is whether you end with it or whether you survive by helping us. Maya's lungs burned, legs aching, but she kept running. By becoming your asset, your operator, your weapon. By being realistic, you're a killer, Captain Frost. Ghost 7, that's what you are, what you've always been. You can pretend to be an analyst for 18 months, can pretend to be normal, but we both know that's a lie. The words hurt because they were partially true. Maya had felt more alive in the past 8 hours than she had in 18 months, felt purpose, felt useful, felt like herself. But that didn't mean it was right. I choose my own path, Maya transmitted. Then you choose death, for you and everyone helping you. Final offer, surrender, help us close this down, or we kill everyone and blame it on Mercer. Your call. Maya didn't answer, just kept running, made her choice through action instead of words. Behind her, the pursuit intensified. The operators stopped pretending to be rescuers, started shooting, professional fire, controlled, not trying to kill yet, just trying to stop, to pin down, to force surrender. Maya returned fire, made them keep their distance, bought meters, bought seconds, but she was running out of ammunition, down to her last magazine, 30 rounds, against 12 operators with unlimited resupply. The prisoners were flagging, exhausted. One stumbled. Maya caught him, kept him moving, but they couldn't maintain this pace much longer. She needed a plan, needed cover, needed something to change the tactical situation. A sound caught her attention. Helicopter rotors, distant but approaching from the east, coming fast. Cross's extraction, or more CIA reinforcements. Maya pulled her scope, searched the sky, found the bird, single helicopter, black, unmarked, no identifying features. It changed course, headed directly for their position, coming to extract or coming to kill, no way to know until it arrived. Get down, Maya ordered the prisoners. Cover now. They dropped behind a small ridge, minimal cover but better than nothing. Maya took up position, weapon aimed at the approaching helicopter. If it was hostile, she'd take her shots, try to damage it before it could deploy troops. The helicopter came in fast, flared hard, landed 50 meters away, rotors still spinning, side door opened. Jake Reeves jumped out. Not the scared analyst, not the uncertain corporal. This Jake moved like an operator, weapon up, professional, scanning for threats. He saw Maya, shouted over the rotor wash. "Ma'am, get them on board, we're extracting." Maya didn't move, kept her weapon on him. "Who sent you?" "No one, I came on my own. Cross is dirty. Mercer's been trying to warn you. We need to get out before the CIA kills us all." "How do I know you're telling the truth?" Jake reached into his vest, pulled something out, threw it to Maya. She caught it one-handed, looked down. Dog tags, military issue, but not standard. On the back, engraved words in what looked like her own handwriting: "Trust Jake, Ghost 8, fire and vanish." Maya stared at the tags. Her hand moved unconsciously, fingers tracing the engraving. The muscle memory of writing those words flooded back. Not a conscious memory, just her hand recognizing its own work. The specific pressure, the angle of the letters, the slight tremor on the G. Her hand had written this, before Syria, before the amnesia, when she'd known something terrible was coming. "You told me to keep these," Jake shouted over the rotors. "2 years ago, you said if anything happened, if you forgot, I should show you these. Said your hand would know even if your mind didn't." Maya's fingers kept tracing. He was right. Her hand knew, recognized its own work with absolute certainty, the kind of certainty that couldn't be faked or manufactured. "Get on board," Jake shouted. "We're out of time." Maya made a decision, trusted the message from her past self, trusted her hand's recognition, trusted Jake. "Move," she ordered the prisoners. "Get on that helicopter." They ran for the bird, climbed aboard. Jake provided cover, professional, disciplined. Then Maya climbed in. Jake followed. The helicopter lifted immediately. Behind them, the pursuing operators opened fire. Rounds sparked off the helicopter's armored hull. The pilot jinked, evaded, climbed hard, got them out of effective range. Maya collapsed against the bulkhead, breathing hard, alive for now. Jake handed her a water bottle. She drained it, looked at him, really looked at him. "You've been watching me for 2 years. Protecting you. Mercer's orders: keep you safe, keep you ignorant, let you live in peace." "How'd that work out?" Jake smiled, grim. "About as well as most of our plans, which is to say it went to hell but we survived." "Where are we going?" "Safe house. Mercer's waiting. He's got proof, about Cross, about the CIA, about everything. Things you need to see before you decide who to trust." Maya closed her eyes, let exhaustion wash over her. She'd been running on adrenaline for 8 hours, fighting, surviving, protecting. Now she needed answers, needed to understand what she'd been part of, what she'd done, what she'd become. "Wake me when we get there," she said. "Yes, ma'am." The helicopter flew through the dawn, carrying ghosts, carrying secrets, carrying the truth that would either save them or destroy them. Maya dozed, haunted by images of Syria, of betrayal, of the team that had died while she lived, of 18 months stolen, of a life that might never be normal again. When she woke, they were landing. Small compound, isolated, professional security. Colonel Mercer waited at the pad, 58 years old, iron gray hair, the posture of a career soldier, but something in his eyes when he saw her. Relief, pride, something almost like love. "Welcome back, Ghost 7, he said as she climbed out. "I want answers, all of them, no more games." "Then come inside, I'll show you everything, and then you can decide, trust me or kill me, your choice." Maya followed him into the compound, into the room where the truth waited, into the moment that would define everything that came after. The war was just beginning. The explosions tore through forward operating base Sentinel like the wrath of God. Controlled demolitions that Maya had rigged during her defensive preparations detonated in sequence, each blast precisely calculated to collapse exit routes, seal corridors, turn the compound into a labyrinth of fire and rubble. Mercer dove for cover as the nearest charge went off 20 meters away. His snipers scattered. The 3 red laser dots tracking Maya's head vanished as their operators fought to stay alive. Maya was already moving. She'd known exactly where each charge would detonate, exactly which paths would remain clear. She sprinted through smoke and chaos while Mercer's team struggled to regroup. Behind her, the colonel's voice cut through the radio chatter. All units converge on my position. Ghost 7 is mobile. Maya ran, not away, toward the one place on this fob that Mercer couldn't afford to destroy with explosives. The one location that held the evidence Cross needed to expose Ghost Protocol. The command bunker. It sat at the center of the compound, reinforced concrete designed to survive artillery strikes. Mercer had been operating from there all night, coordinating his assault, managing his teams, which meant his communications equipment was inside, his encrypted files, his operational records. Everything Maya needed to burn his entire operation to the ground. She covered 200 meters in 90 seconds, using the explosions as cover. Thermal smoke grenades she'd placed earlier created blind spots in the enemy's night vision. She moved through them like a ghost, the training from Delta flowing through her muscle memory with perfect recall. 3 operators appeared ahead, blocking her path. Maya didn't slow down. She fired on the move, 3-round bursts, professional targeting. 2 went down with leg wounds. The third took cover. Maya vaulted a concrete barrier and kept running. Behind her, Mercer's voice on the radio carried a new edge. Not anger, respect. She's going for the bunker. Cut her off at grid 472. But Maya was already past that grid, already at the bunker entrance. The security door stood open, abandoned in the chaos. She went through fast, weapon up, clearing corners with textbook precision. Empty, Mercer's team had evacuated when the explosion started. Only the equipment remained. Radios, computers, satellite uplinks, the nerve center of a black operations network that had been running for years. Maya moved to the main computer terminal, pulled an encrypted drive from her vest, the one Cross had given her in those final seconds at the intelligence center, the one that would copy everything on Mercer's servers. She plugged it in. The drive began pulling data, gigabytes of classified operations, mission reports, target packages, kill confirmations. All of it damning. All of it signed by her. Maya stared at the screen as files scrolled past. Mission designations she didn't remember, target names that meant nothing, dates that fell into the black hole of her missing memories. But there, in the metadata, her signature, her authorization, her fingerprints all over operations that had executed foreign nationals on American soil without trial, without warrant, without oversight. Cross had been telling the truth. Maya wasn't just a victim of Ghost Protocol, she'd been an architect. The door behind her opened, not exploded, just opened, quiet, professional. Mercer walked in alone, weapon lowered, hands visible, the same play as before. "No snipers this time," he said calmly. "Just you and me, like it should have been from the start." Maya kept her weapon trained on him but didn't fire. The data was still downloading. She needed 30 more seconds. "You rigged the whole compound," Mercer continued, genuine admiration in his voice. "Turned my own assault into a death trap. That's pure Ghost 7. That's the operator I trained." "You trained me to murder civilians." "I trained you to eliminate threats. Big difference." 17 people, Mercer. 17 kills on American soil. How is that not murder? He moved closer, slow, deliberate, giving her time to shoot if she wanted. Because those 17 people were planning attacks that would have killed hundreds, thousands. They were enemy combatants operating in our homeland. We stopped them. Without due process, without courts, without law. The law is too slow. By the time lawyers finish arguing, people die. We acted. We saved lives. You know this, Maya. You knew it every time you pulled that trigger. The download hit 80%, 20 seconds. Maya's finger tightened on her own trigger. Even if that's true, you still betrayed us in Syria. You still set up your own team. Mercer's expression darkened. I eliminated a threat who was compromising our operations. That threat happened to be on my team. It was the hardest call I've ever made. Who was it? Who was the traitor? He met her eyes, held her gaze. When he spoke, his voice carried absolute conviction. Captain Sarah Mitchell, your second in command, your best friend. The name hit Maya like a physical blow. Sarah. Images flashed through her breaking amnesia. A woman's face, laughing, training together, sharing a hooch in some forgotten forward operating base. Trust, friendship, family. You're lying. Russian intelligence paid her $2 million over 8 months. She fed them intelligence on our operations. Got 3 Delta operators killed in Jordan. Would have gotten the rest of us killed in Syria if I hadn't acted. Then why not arrest her, court-martial her? Why the execution? Because she wasn't working alone. She had help. Someone else was feeding her information. I didn't know who. Couldn't risk them escaping if I moved on Sarah alone. 90%, 10 seconds. So you killed everyone, Maya said, just to be sure. I killed everyone to complete the mission and protect national security. And I made sure you survived because you were the only one I was certain wasn't compromised. How could you be certain? Mercer's voice softened. Because you loved Sarah like a sister. If you'd known she was a traitor, you'd have been devastated. Your grief after Syria was real, which meant your ignorance was real, which meant you were clean. 100%. Download complete. Maya pulled the drive free, tucked it into her vest. So what now? You kill me, tie up the last loose end. No, now I show you the truth. Mercer pulled a tablet from his vest, brought up a video file. This is helmet cam footage from Syria, from my camera, not Sarah's. Watch. He pressed play. The screen showed tactical footage, night vision, Mercer's point of view, the team moving through an urban environment. Maya recognized the operation immediately. The final mission, the one that had ended with casualties and her in a German hospital. The team entered a building, cleared rooms, professional, coordinated. Then they reached the target room. Inside, an ISIS commander, just as briefed, but he was already dead. Bullet wound to the head, fresh. Sarah's voice on the audio. Control, target is already deceased. Someone got here first. Then gunfire, not from in front, from behind, from inside the building. The team scattered, taking cover, returning fire, chaos, screaming. Mercer's camera showed him moving through the firefight, operators going down, Sarah moving toward Maya's position. The camera caught Maya taking a round to the head, helmet stopping it but the impact dropping her, unconscious, out of the fight. Sarah stood over Maya's unconscious form, weapon raised, about to execute her. Mercer's camera view shifted. He raised his weapon, fired. 3 rounds, center mass. Sarah's body armor took the hits but the impact staggered her back. She turned toward Mercer, weapon coming up. He fired again, this time targeting her weapon hand, disarming her. She fell, wounded but alive. Ghost 7 is compromised, Mercer's voice on the recording. Extracting her now, all teams withdraw. The camera showed him dragging Maya's unconscious body toward the exit. Behind them, Sarah struggled to her feet, clutching her wounds. But she was alive, wounded, captured by enemy forces that emerged from the shadows. The video ended. Maya stared at the blank screen, her whole world rewriting itself. The narrative she'd constructed, the villain she'd created, all of it shifting. You didn't kill her, she whispered. I shot her, wounded her, But I didn't have time to confirm the kill. Enemy forces were overrunning our position. I had to choose: execute Sarah and risk losing you, or extract you and let Sarah be captured. You chose me. I chose you. Spent 6 weeks making sure you survived the head injury. Then gave you a new life when the brain trauma caused selective amnesia. Why not tell me this before? Mercer's voice went quiet. Because you were broken, traumatized. The amnesia was a gift. Let you forget the betrayal. Forget that your best friend had sold you out. Forget that you'd spent 8 months trusting someone who was working for the enemy. Maya's legs felt weak. Everything she'd believed for the past hours had been based on incomplete information. Then why are you here tonight? If you saved me, protected me, why did the attack happen? Because Sarah survived her capture. The Russians patched her up, used her for intelligence. Then 18 months ago, they released her back to American custody as part of a prisoner exchange. Maya's blood ran cold. She's alive. She's alive. And she didn't come back as Sarah Mitchell. She came back with a new identity, a manufactured background, credentials that placed her high in the U.S. military intelligence structure. Who? The woman you know as General Rachel Cross. The room tilted. Maya grabbed the desk to stay upright. That's impossible. I met Cross. She has records, service history. Fabricated records. The real Rachel Cross died in a training accident in Germany, October 2017, 1 month before Syria. Sarah Mitchell stole her identity, assumed her rank, her clearance, her authority with Russian help. Why would the Russians do that? Because Sarah promised them access to American black operations, promised them Ghost Protocol. She's been hunting us for 18 months, killing operators, gathering intelligence, building a case to expose Ghost Protocol to congressional oversight. Why expose it if she's Russian? Because exposing Ghost Protocol embarrasses the CIA, damages American intelligence credibility, creates political chaos. That's the Russian play, and Sarah's been executing it perfectly. Maya thought about the woman she'd met in the intelligence center. The calm authority, the reasonable offer, the immunity deal, all of it had felt slightly wrong, slightly too convenient. Because it had been. She played me. She played all of us, used my name, my reputation, coordinated tonight's attack to force you to remember, to make you useful as a witness against me, against Ghost Protocol, against American intelligence. The pieces clicked together: the attack, the timing, the convenient appearance of Cross right when Maya needed someone to trust, all of it orchestrated. Where is she now? Running. The moment she realized you'd extracted the prisoners instead of bringing them to her, she aborted, took her CIA contractors and evacuated, left the FOB to die in the airstrike she'd already called in. Airstrike. Mercer checked his watch. Inbound in 8 minutes, Tomahawk missiles from a Navy destroyer. Cross authorized them under her false credentials, claims the FOB has been overrun by insurgents. By the time anyone realizes it's friendly fire, we'll all be dead. Maya's world contracted to a single point. Can we stop it? Not from here. The authorization is valid. The missiles are already flying. We have to evacuate. What about the people still on the FOB? The soldiers who didn't make it to Cross's helicopters? Acceptable casualties. That's Sarah's calculation, same one she made in Syria. Maya felt rage flood through her, cold, focused, the kind that made her dangerous. No, I don't accept that. Maya, we can't. You said you trained me to protect Americans, to complete the mission. The mission is saving those soldiers. I don't care what it costs. She grabbed the data drive, grabbed her weapon, headed for the door. "Where are you going?" "To get those people out. You can help or get out of my way." Mercer stared at her, then smiled, pride in his eyes. "That's my Ghost 7. He followed her out. Together they ran through the burning compound, found survivors, wounded soldiers, defenders who'd held positions, people Cross had left behind to die. "Evacuation," Maya shouted. "Everyone to the south egress shaft, move." They moved, soldiers who'd been preparing to die suddenly given hope. Maya and Mercer led them, professional, coordinated, working together like they'd never been enemies. 5 minutes until impact. They reached the egress shaft, started sending people up. Too slow, too many. They weren't going to make it. "Go," Mercer said to Maya. "Get them clear, I'll stay. Make sure everyone gets out." "Bullshit, you're coming too. Someone needs to hold this position, cover the retreat, and I'm old, slow. I'll just slow you down." Maya grabbed his vest. "I said you're coming, that's an order." Mercer laughed. "You don't outrank me, Captain." "I outrank you in stubbornness. Move now." They climbed together. Last one's out. Maya counted heads. 43 soldiers. All that remained of Fob Sentinel's garrison. All alive because she'd refused to accept acceptable casualties. They ran 200 meters from the Fob. 300, not enough. The missiles had a kill radius of. Impact. 6 tomahawks hit simultaneously. The Fob disappeared in fire and pressure. The shockwave knocked everyone flat. Maya covered her head, felt heat wash over her, debris raining down. Then silence. She lifted her head, looked back. Fob Sentinel was gone, just a crater, smoke, the complete erasure of evidence. Exactly as Sarah Mitchell had planned. Except she hadn't counted on Maya refusing to leave soldiers behind. Hadn't counted on Mercer helping instead of fighting. Hadn't counted on Ghost 7 becoming a protector instead of a weapon. Maya stood, checked the survivors, wounded but alive, all of them, every single one. Mercer stood beside her. "You did it, save them all." "We did it." He smiled, offered his hand. "Partners." Maya looked at his hand, at everything it represented, the years of manipulation, the deaths, the compromises, the moral ambiguities. She shook it anyway. "Partners for now, until we stop Sarah." "Agreed." They gathered the survivors, called for evacuation using Mercer's secure network. Helicopters arrived within 20 minutes, not American, private contractors, Ghost Protocol's hidden assets. As they loaded the wounded, Maya pulled Mercer aside. "I need to know something. The real Rachel Cross, the one who died, did Sarah kill her?" Mercer's face went dark. "Yes, training accident wasn't an accident. Sarah arranged it, studied her for months, learned everything, then eliminated her and took her place." "How do you know?" "Because Rachel Cross was my sister." The revelation hit Maya like a punch. "Your sister." "Older by 3 years, career intelligence officer. She recruited me into Ghost Protocol, was supposed to run the operation. Then she died. I took over. Spent 18 months trying to figure out who killed her. Finally realized it was Sarah. By then she was too embedded, too protected. I've been planning to expose her ever since." "That's why you're doing this. It's personal." "It started personal, but it's bigger now. Sarah has to be stopped, not for revenge, for national security. She's a Russian asset wearing an American general's face. She has access to everything, classified operations, intelligence networks, nuclear codes. We need to expose her. We need to eliminate her." Maya met his eyes. No, we expose her, we do this legally. We bring her to trial, we prove what she is. That takes time, lawyers, evidence. She'll disappear before we can act. Then we act fast, but we do it right. No more assassinations, no more ghost protocol solutions. We use the law. Mercer studied her. You really believe that, after everything you've seen? I have to believe it, because if I don't, I'm just another Sarah, another operator who decided the law doesn't apply to them. He was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. All right, we do it your way, but if it goes wrong, if she escapes, we do it my way. Fair. They flew to a secure location, not American soil, Turkey, a CIA black site that Mercer had access to through old connections, somewhere they could plan without Sarah's knowledge. For 3 days they built their case, gathered evidence, documented Sarah's identity theft, her Russian connections, her manipulation of the attack on Fob Sentinel, the authorization of friendly fire. Jake helped, providing technical expertise, hacking into systems, finding digital fingerprints Sarah had left behind. The 3 prisoners provided testimony, eyewitness accounts of Syria, of Sarah's betrayal, of Mercer's attempted rescue. On the 4th day, Maya made contact with the Department of Defense Inspector General, bypassing normal channels, going straight to the oversight authority that couldn't be corrupted. She laid it all out, names, dates, evidence, everything. The Inspector General listened, asked hard questions, demanded proof. Maya provided it all. If this is true, the Inspector General said, if a Russian asset is operating as a U.S. general, we have a national security crisis. It's true, I have proof, but you need to act fast. She knows we're coming for her. Where is she now? Operating out of a CIA facility in Turkey. Compound 17. She's using it as a base to hunt the remaining Ghost Protocol operators. We'll send a team, arrest her, bring her in for questioning. I want to be part of that team. Captain Frost, that's not advisable. You're personally involved. Compromised judgment. I'm the only witness who can identify her on site, who knows her tactics, who can counter her if she resists. The Inspector General hesitated, then agreed. Fine, but you go in with a full tactical team, federal agents by the book. Understood. 24 hours later, Maya stood outside Compound 17 with a team of FBI tactical operators, federal agents with legal authority, warrants, rules of engagement. They breached professionally, announced themselves, FBI, we have a warrant for General Rachel Cross. The compound was empty. Sarah had run. Maya stood in the abandoned command center, staring at empty desks. Sarah had known. Somehow she'd known they were coming, had evacuated 12 hours earlier. She's gone, Jake said, checking the computers. Wiped everything, no trace. Mercer entered, face grim. She had a contingency, always does. She's disappeared into the wind. Maya felt frustration build. They'd been so close, had the evidence, had the authority, but Sarah was smarter, always one step ahead. Where would she go? Anywhere. She has resources, identities. The Russians will hide her if she makes it to their territory. Then we find her before she does. They searched for 3 months, followed leads, tracked financial transactions, monitored border crossings. Sarah Mitchell, wearing Rachel Cross's face, had disappeared completely. Until Maya got a message. Anonymous, encrypted, sent through channels only a Ghost operator would know. You won, Ghost 7, I'm done. Meet me in Portland. Let's end this face to face. Maya showed Mercer the message. It's a trap. Obviously. I'm going anyway. Obviously. He assembled a team, Jake, 3 trusted operators. They flew to Portland, Oregon, November 2019, rain coming down like the sky was crying. The meeting location was a coffee shop, public, neutral, somewhere Sarah couldn't spring an ambush without civilian casualties. Maya went in alone, unarmed per Sarah's demand, but with Mercer's team watching from outside, snipers in position, backup ready. Sarah sat at a corner table, wearing civilian clothes, no longer trying to maintain the General Cross disguise, just herself, older, harder, but unmistakably Sarah Mitchell. Maya sat down across from her. "Hello, Sarah." "Hello, Maya, you look good. Alive suits you." "Can't say the same, you look like hell." Sarah smiled, bitter. "Running for your life for 3 months will do that. You could surrender, face trial, tell your side." "My side? I'm a traitor, a Russian asset, a murderer. There's no trial that ends well for me." "Then why contact me?" Sarah pulled an envelope from her jacket, slid it across the table. "Because I wanted to give you this, before I disappear for good." Maya opened it. Inside, classified documents, names of Russian intelligence officers, American assets they'd recruited, operations they'd run, everything Sarah knew about her handlers. "Why?" "Because you were right, back in Syria, before I sold out. You said we were supposed to be the good guys. I forgot that, became the thing we fought. This is my attempt at redemption." "Redemption would be surrendering." "I'm not that brave." Sarah stood. "The information in there will save lives, stop operations. That's all I can offer." "Sarah, don't run, stay, face this. I'll testify for you, tell them you were coerced, manipulated. You'd lie for me, after what I did. I'd tell the truth, that you were my friend, that you saved my life in Jordan, that before the Russians got to you, you were a hero." Sarah's eyes glistened. "I don't deserve that." "Probably not, but you deserve a chance." For a moment Maya thought she'd convinced her, thought Sarah would stay, face justice, try for redemption. Then the window exploded. Not gunfire. Someone had driven a car through the front of the coffee shop. The vehicle crashed through, scattering tables, sending people screaming. Sarah was already moving, combat instincts taking over. She grabbed Maya, pulled her toward the back exit. "Russian extraction team," Sarah gasped. "They're not letting me testify, move." They ran together, through the kitchen, out into the alley. Behind them, armed men poured from the crashed vehicle, professional, Russian spec ops. Mercer's team engaged, firefight erupting, civilians caught in crossfire. Sarah pulled Maya into a side street. "I'm sorry, I didn't know they'd try this, didn't know they'd risk exposure. We need to get you to safety." Sarah pushed her away. "No, you need to survive, they want you dead too, you know too much." She pulled a pistol from concealment, turned to face the pursuing Russians. "Sarah, don't. Tell my story, Ghost 7. Tell them I tried to do the right thing at the end." She walked back toward the firefight, weapon up, drawing the Russians away from Maya. Maya heard gunfire, shouting, then silence. Mercer found her 2 minutes later. "Maya, are you hit?" "No, Sarah, she's." "We got her, she's alive, wounded but stable. FBI took her into custody. Russians are dead or captured." Maya collapsed against the wall. "She saved me, again." "She did, guess that counts for something." The FBI took Sarah Mitchell into federal custody, maximum security, awaiting trial for espionage, treason, murder. The evidence was overwhelming. The documents she'd provided were genuine. actionable intelligence that led to the arrest of 12 Russian officers operating in the United States. Her trial would be classified, life in prison, no death penalty due to cooperation, but she'd never see freedom again. Maya testified, told the truth, Sarah's heroism before the betrayal, her final act of redemption. The court listened, factored it into sentencing. Life in prison, solitary, no contact with Russian intelligence, but alive. Maya visited her once, federal penitentiary, through reinforced glass, phone connection. "I heard you testified for me," Sarah said. "Thank you. I told the truth. You saved my life twice. That matters. Does it balance the scales? All the people I killed, all the operators who died because of me?" "No, but it's a start." Sarah smiled, sad. "Take care of yourself, Ghost 7. Try to find peace." "You too." Maya left the prison, walked out into sunlight, free, alive, carrying the weight of 17 kills and a friendship that had survived betrayal. Mercer was waiting. What now? "Now I retire, for real this time. No more Ghost Protocol, no more ops." "You earned it, we all did." Ghost Protocol was officially disbanded, the surviving operators given immunity in exchange for testimony, the program classified, buried. The story would never be public, but oversight had been established. The abuses ended. Maya returned to Portland, got an apartment, started therapy for PTSD, began the slow process of building a normal life. 6 months later, she got a job at a tech company. Cybersecurity analyst, clean work, legal work, nothing classified. 1 year later, she met someone, coffee shop, different one, no car crashes. His name was David, accountant, boring, safe, perfect. He asked about her past. She told him she'd been Army intelligence, nothing exciting, desk work mostly. He believed her because why wouldn't he? 2 years later, he proposed. Maya said yes, not because she loved him desperately. She did, but because saying yes meant the ghost was finally dead, meant Maya Chen was real. The wedding was small. Civil ceremony, Portland courthouse, David's family, a few friends from work, no one from Maya's past, no military, no ghosts. Except one. Jake sat in the back row, different name now, different life, but still Ghost 8, still watching over her, still family. After the ceremony, he approached. "Congratulations, ma'am." "Thank you, Jake. You didn't have to come." "Wouldn't miss it. You're happy." Maya thought about it. "Yeah, I think I am." "Good, you deserve it." He started to leave. Maya caught his arm. "Is it really over, Ghost Protocol, Sarah, all of it?" Jake's expression went serious. "Sarah's in prison. Mercer's retired. The program's ended. It's over." But ghosts don't die easy. You know that. We're always out there, watching, waiting, making sure the people we protected stay safe." "For how long?" "Forever, that's the job." Maya released his arm. "Then I guess once Ghost Protocol, always Ghost Protocol." "Always." He left. Maya returned to David, to her wedding reception, to normal life. That night, alone in their hotel room, David asleep beside her, Maya allowed herself to remember. Syria. The team, Sarah, Mercer, all of it. She'd killed 17 people, saved 43 soldiers from friendly fire, stopped a Russian intelligence operation, brought a traitor to justice. The math didn't balance, it never would, but she'd done her best, fought for what was right, protected people who couldn't protect themselves. That had to be enough. 3 years later, Maya Frost, now Maya Chen, stood in her kitchen making coffee. David was at work. She had the day off. Normal Tuesday, nothing special. Her phone rang, unknown number, she almost didn't answer. Then training kicked in, ghost instinct, she answered. Hello. Jake's voice, urgent. Maya, Sarah escaped federal custody, killed 2 guards, disappeared, she's in the wind. Maya's blood went cold. When? 6 hours ago, we think she had help. Russian extraction team, they're bringing her home. Does she know where I am? We don't think so, but she's resourceful, it's possible. Maya looked around her kitchen, at the life she'd built, the peace she'd found. What do you need from me? Nothing, just warning you. Stay alert, keep your head down, we're hunting her. Jake, let me help. I know her better than anyone. You're retired, ma'am. You have a life, a husband, don't throw that away. I won't, but I can help, remotely. Analysis, predictive modeling, where would she go, what would she do? Pause, then. All right, I'll send you what we have, but Maya, this stays quiet, your husband can't know. Understood. She hung up, stood in her kitchen, civilian life on one side, Ghost 7 on the other. She made her choice. Opened her laptop, began analyzing Sarah's escape route, predicting her next move, using skills she'd spent 3 years pretending she didn't have. David came home to find her working. What are you doing? Maya closed the laptop, smiled. Just some work stuff, security analysis, nothing exciting. You work too hard. Old habits. He kissed her, headed to shower. Maya reopened the laptop, kept working, kept hunting, kept being what she'd always been. Ghost 7. Some things never changed. Some ghosts never died. And as Maya analyzed data, predicted Sarah's movements, she understood something fundamental. She'd never be fully civilian, never be completely normal. The training was too deep, the skills too ingrained, the responsibility too heavy. But she could be both. Maya Chen, the cybersecurity analyst, and Ghost 7, the protector. One life, 2 identities, balanced, integrated, whole. She sent her analysis to Jake, precise, accurate, actionable. 2 weeks later, he called again. We found her, your analysis was perfect. We intercepted her at the Canadian border, she's back in custody. Maximum security this time, no escape. Good. Maya, you still have it, the skills, the instinct, if you ever want back in. I don't, but I'll help when needed, from the shadows, remotely. That's my compromise. I'll take it. She hung up, returned to her normal life, cooked dinner, watched TV with David, went to bed. But her go bag stayed packed in the closet. Her weapon stayed accessible. Her training stayed sharp. Just in case. Because she'd learned something in 3 years of civilian life. You could retire from the job, but you never retired from who you were. She was Maya Chen, cybersecurity analyst, wife, normal person. And she was Ghost 7, protector, warrior, guardian in the shadows. Both always forever. The end of the mission. The beginning of the rest of her life. Balanced finally, completely. I've told hundreds of military stories, but Maya's got under my skin. Imagine being so good at what you do that they have to erase you from records. Then imagine choosing to forget it all, only to have one night strip away that peace forever. The part that haunts me, she saved those soldiers knowing it would destroy the quiet life she'd built. That's not duty, that's character. For the veterans here, was there ever a moment you had to choose between mission and morality? Your stories matter, share them below, and stick around, we've got more. United States.